All right, let's get into the main topic though. Obviously still dealing with social media, but we have a hot topic. We have a hot topic in the mainly streaming community, but this definitely went to everybody, really every content creation like sphere, like YouTube, TikTok, like everybody. I watched this video. We're not gonna watch it all the way through, but I want to at least play the main part, and it was a very small snippet that got the internet riled up. Now, if you don't know who Hasan is, I'm not truly familiar with this content because I don't watch him, but I am familiar with who he is and the types of like baseline views that he has, and the fact that like people are getting on him because you're being a total socialist and you're preaching these views. But then a few years ago, like, he bought a very expensive house. People are like, well, what the heck was on, like, and we'll get into that because I want to dissect this like from his standpoint, my standpoint, and then the overall world view standpoint. But I want to say, I want to say from just this clip here that I'm going to play, just this clip here, I'm going to say that Hasan is actually right. Hasan was actually right. And the reason why I say he was right was because he was talking about just the social aspect, just the social aspect. And I'm gonna break down why he's wrong too. I'm not giving him bail. I'm not giving him bail. I am homeless. What's up? I'm not giving him bail because we gonna talk about how he's wrong too, because he's a part of the problem. He's he's right in the social aspect, but he's wrong because he's part of the problem. He in the streaming community, and we're gonna focus on streaming first, and then we're going to go into the YouTube aspect and the other types of content creation, because this dissects in different levels. This is definitely different levels. So I'm gonna play like the general part here, just in case if you all didn't hear it, and then we'll dissect it, because we don't need to go into the entire thing, because he starts to go into how literally an hour later, this clip went on live stream fails, and XQC commented on it, and that projected it up even more. And then people were just like berating him. It spread super quickly, and he started getting on why he hates streaming, why he hates streaming culture, why he hates the live stream fails subreddit, how he tried to get them off of, like, he tried to get himself banned on live stream fails, but they still ended up putting him on there. So it really got into a whole bunch of layers. Like, Hasan is just sick of streaming. That's the gist of this video. That's the gist of his time when he was streaming it. He's tired of streaming. And I get it, because he was like, it's gotten so far that I get death threats all the time. It's trickling down to my family. Got to get the FBI involved. He probably got swatted. He started getting on how Destiny and XUC are a-holes. Like, this man, he got problems. He got beef, bro. He got streamer beef. So I get it. I get it. This man got streamer beef. But the reason why I say he's right is because he's purely talking about the social aspect, and people took it totally out of context, and they just start saying, "Hey, you think that that streaming is way harder than the real job? Like, get the f out of here." And I get that. If you're taking it totally out of context, if you're taking it fully out of context, just from a base standpoint, when he's not talking about specifically the social aspect, yes, he's 100% wrong. He's 100% wrong. But he also admitted that he's like, bro, I wasn't talking about that. I was not talking about just the fact that streaming, compared to a real job. He was like, I know. He was like, I know that a real job is infinitely harder than a streaming job because I work the regular job. So at least he has that experience. He didn't just wake up and then, 16, 17 say, I'm just going to start streaming. Like, at least he had a real job. So at least he has some experience, and he can say that. It's not like he's out of touch in that aspect. But I'm gonna play this clip, and then we're going to dissect the whole streaming versus real job, and then we're going to get into YouTube and other types of content creation.
Other people, I don't want people to think that I'm like, I hate being around them. I don't. I'm just really tired. So I'd rather like avoid those kind of circumstances. Now, you know how it is with real jobs feel? Yeah, it's funny you say that because I used to have a real job and I was infinitely more social.
See, now again, this wasn't even part of the main clip. This wasn't a part of the main clip that went viral. Like, he already acknowledged, like, early on in this video, he was like, yeah, I know. He was like, again, and he talked about the social aspect. So immediately, again, if you didn't catch that first part, you're going to just take the clip for what it was. And he was talking about the social aspect.
Because this is the one area where I absolutely will disagree with you on. Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will. No, 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 no. No, social battery wise, unless you're in retail, it's very different. You're out of touch. I'm gonna die, dude. There's motherfuckers who are accountants in here and they're misunderstanding what I'm saying. A real job does not expend your social battery in the same way as someone who did a sales job, a real job. I'm telling you, as someone who did both, 9 hours of constant performance and people pleasing taps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that, I could probably do physical labor. It would not bother me, but I can't do more social shit. That's my point. There are obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service sector, people pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are like, I think, customer service type. But like if you're an accountant or if you're even like in sales, my interactions with clients was limited, way more limited than like constantly having to do this for 9 hours with like a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what like sucks your social battery and you just tap out after it.
Okay. All right. So that part, let's break down that part, because that part is very important. That part is very important. So let me just break down again. We're going to talk about how he's wrong first, because again, the majority of people think he's wrong, right? And of course, he's wrong in the aspect that if we're just going to talk about the baseline of a streaming job doing 9 hours compared to a regular job, especially a physical labor job, yes, literally nobody can argue with this, and I think he understood that too. But again, immediately when he said that, people were getting on his head. But there's literally, I think that anybody in the world, if you had the chance to wake up whenever you wanted, get up, not even wash your ass, sit at a computer screen, boot it up, turn on OBS, think of what you're going to play or talk about, and just hit start streaming, yes, that's going to be infinitely easier than having to wake up early at the crack of dawn, getting ready, washing your ass, brushing your teeth, putting on clothes, eating breakfast, getting in your car, having to deal with traffic, you're wasting fuel, you have to take a 30 minute to an hour commute every day, going to either a physical labor job where you have to work 8 hours, a retail job where you have to deal with people, you have to again do physical labor, you have to deal with people all day, a corporate job where you're at a cubicle having to either be by yourself behind a computer screen but not at home being behind a computer screen, having to deal with other people, whether it's online through a computer or in real life, and then doing the same thing again, going the opposite way, dealing with that. Like, yes, I deal with it 2 or 3 days out of the week, and I hate it. My commute is an hour and 10 minutes from where I am to the corporate office. I totally understand, and I've understood before I even had this job. I've understood all of my life. I even did full-time content creation for a couple of years before I went back into corporate. I 110% understand, and I agree that yes, streaming from just the basic point of not even having to leave your home, you get to make your own hours, you get to do whatever you want, compared to a real job, whatever it is. Obviously some jobs are going to be so much worse because a lot of people are working jobs that they don't even like, and that's really the kicker too. You know, forget the commute and everything else, you're working a job that you don't even like compared to streaming. And I would hope that it's something that you actually enjoy, you know, even a little bit, whether you're playing video games, whether you're just talking, whether you're sewing, knitting, hot tub streams, whatever the heck. Like, I hope that you're at least enjoying it a little bit. But at the end of the day, yes, the pros are outweighing the cons, you know, of a real job and having to make that commute and doing whatever that you don't like, compared to streaming, just getting up, sitting at your computer, booting up OBS, booting up your computer, booting up OBS and getting it cracking. So yes, he's 100% wrong in that aspect, but that's not what he's talking about. He is talking about the social aspect. And this is where I can agree with him, but he is still wrong because he is a part of the problem. This man mentioned multiple times that he streamed for 9 hours. Anybody, and this is the problem, we talked about this for a while, the grind culture in streaming has ruined the streaming market. It has ruined streaming, period. And a lot of these dudes who are at the top 5%, those are the hours that they do. You are not only doing a regular 8-hour shift, you're doing more than 40 hours a week. People are doing 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. You're doing streamathons. You're streaming for 365 days in a year. You're streaming for 30 days straight. You're going to sleep on stream. You're doing whatever. It's toxic, bro. It's toxic. And when you get up there to the top 5% and everybody sees, oh, this is how you got famous, guess what? They're going to want to do it too. And Hasan, whether he wants to admit it or not, if you're doing a shift, if you are doing a straight 8-hour, 9-hour shift to stream every day or almost every day, then yeah, you're a part of the problem. You are a part of the problem. Even when I was doing full-time streaming, I only streamed for 4 hours a day. If you stream for 9 hours plus a day, that is your life at this point. It's your life at this point. People live on their computers, bro. The top 5% live on their computers. They are showing you every aspect of their life. These people barely wash their ass. They barely get anything to eat. They barely get any sleep. They live, breathe streaming. And that is part of the problem. That is why I say that Hasan is wrong, because he is a part of the problem. He is a part of that 5%. Yes, he said that he's blessed all the time, but if you are streaming 9 hours a day, yes, you're part of the problem, bro. Of course, you're not going to have any social battery. It doesn't matter whether you have a girlfriend, a wife, kids, they're not going to see you. Yeah, you're not going to have a social battery. You're sitting here talking to people online for 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day. Yes, you're not going to want to do anything after. Yeah, of course you're going to be drained. Like, hello? Of course you're going to be drained and not want to talk to anybody. And that's what he was talking about. But again, he does it to himself. When you get to a certain point, in success in this streaming stuff, why would you continue to do that? Why would you continue to do these long hours and not take breaks? You know why I still have a social battery? Why I can still, when I'm done streaming, I can go to sleep, I can wake up, feel refreshed, whether I still had a full-time job or not, because I don't live on my computer. It's because I don't live on my computer. I super duper, especially with streaming, making YouTube videos, having a 9 to 5, I know when it's time to take a break. I literally make a schedule so that I can take a break. You know what my real breaks are? On the weekends. Guess what I don't do on the weekends? I don't play games and I don't stream on the weekends, because I know that I need to recharge my social battery. I know that I need to recharge my social battery. So why don't these streamers make their own schedule and do that? Yes, he controls his schedule. That is the point. He controls his schedule. So if you control your schedule, then why do you continue to do it? then why do you continue to do it? You know what one of the main reasons are? I'll tell you a secret if you aren't in the know. When streamers started talking about their contracts that they get with Twitch, with Mixer when that was still around, with YouTube, probably, I'm sure YouTube has those stipulations in some of these streamers' contracts, with Kick, all of those, they have implemented, especially for the top 5-10%, they have implemented these long hours that these streamers have to hit in order for them to get that stipend every single month. And again, that contributes to the problem. I've heard about some of these streamers' contracts, and it literally said that they need to get 100 hours, 100 hours like in the week or something. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like that's ridiculous, bro. That's ridiculous. I remember once I remember once I got offered a Facebook contract when they were trying to get a lot of black streamers on their platform. And it was saying like it wanted me to do 120 hours in a month. I said, what? I said, ¿Qué paso? I said I do eight. I said I do 80 in 2 weeks. What are you talking? I'm like, no, I'm not, no, I can't do both. I can't do both. That's my life at this point. Yeah, the black said Facebook, what a melody. I'm like, that's my life at this point. I'm sorry. Like, even if I didn't have a full-time job, you would have to be paying me a lot more for me to consider that. Like, that's my life. I do not want to live streaming. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I was even trying to do the math of like, well, if I do like 6 hours every day, but I'm just like, no, like it still wasn't even worth it. And I was like seriously trying to make it work. I'm like, maybe I could do this part-time. Maybe I can, and still have this job. Maybe I could do my 9 to 5 job part-time and then do this part-time. But then I'm like, but where would I be, man? I would be drained too. I would be drained too. I see you, homie. We talking about knowledge. You. I was like, yeah, I would be drained too. So I understand how that could be draining because like even these contracts that these streamers are signing or asking you to do ridiculous hours to get this kind of money. And it's like you're chasing the money at this point, but do you value your work-life balance? And you don't. You clearly don't value your work-life balance if this is what you're doing, and then you're going to complain about your social battery being drained. Yeah, of course, if I stream 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day, I wouldn't want to talk to anybody either. Like that would seem like a obvious point. At this point, it would be an obvious point. Yeah, I don't want to talk to anybody either. But again, if you're forcing, that's what you choose to do at this point. If you're signing contracts like that, that's what you choose to do. And when I was offered that, I'm like, I'm not doing it. Like it wasn't even worth the money. Like I wasn't getting, $1 million, but when I was offered at Facebook, and I was like, it's still like just no, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it for me. So like even you saw what they wanted, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not worth it. But these streamers they sign those contracts. So what can you do? What can you do? Like that. It is what it is at this point because that's what you signed up for and that's what you were doing anyway. The grind culture. It's always the streaming grind culture. You got to grind in order to get to this point. And that's super unrealistic for a lot of people. It is super unrealistic and it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all because these streamers are not getting sleep. You're literally falling asleep on stream. You're running out of things to do. This is why we had a long string of streamers in the top 5-10% all watching freaking Gordon Ramsay, bro. They were watching Gordon Ramsay. People were trying to find anything to do just to sit on stream and get their hours. If you weren't aware, this is why things like that happen. This is why they were watching, full movies on stream, just copyrights out the ass, bro. Copyrights out the ass. This is why they were doing those things because they needed to meet a quota. Do you think they enjoy doing that? No, they didn't enjoy doing it. It's because they had to. It's because they had to meet a quota. And a lot of those streamers ended up getting out of those contracts because they finally decided, hey, you know what? I can go on to other ventures. Like I don't have to sit here, and they tried to veil it under, I just want to go somewhere else. I don't like Twitch anymore, man. I don't like Twitch anymore. I just want to go somewhere else. No, they were trying to get out the contracts. They were trying to get out the bad contract, bro. It was like 360 deals at this point, bro. They were like 360 deals at this point. No, you got to think about why people are truly doing things, bro. Don't accept what the elites tell you. Don't just take what they tell you because I know the facts. I know the real facts, bro. So anyways, so that's that. So this is why I agree. Again, this is why I agree with the sign. Yes, you streaming 9 hours a day every day. Yeah, of course I wouldn't have any social battery either. I wouldn't have a social battery either. Now let's get into the YouTube aspect because YouTube is a different beast. If we want to compare YouTube content creation compared to a real-time job, yes, you don't have to sit on stream and you don't have to entertain someone for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, however much long you want to do. But if you're really like in your bag, if you in your YouTube bag, you gotta come up with the title. You gotta think of of your script. You gotta come up with a good script, or just random thoughts. You can come off the cuff with it. You gotta make the video, record it, do whatever you do. Then you gotta edit the video, which if you really in your bag with editing, you know how long it could take. Like for really good videos, it takes days. It takes days. So you gotta sit there and you gotta be on your computer and you gotta edit for a long time. For a long time. Then you put the video out. But again, the one difference is at least you're by yourself while you're doing that. You're by yourself when you're doing it. I hope that you're taking breaks for all the YouTubers who are really in their bag with editing. I hope you're taking breaks in between. But a lot of these YouTubers, like especially if they put out a lot of content, especially a lot of quality content really quickly, either they have their own editors, they have a team, and usually that's it. Like as if YouTubers put out a lot of quality content very quickly and they have editors, it's almost impossible to do it by yourself. But the ones that still do it by themselves, yeah, it's gonna take you like days. It's gonna take you days to like get some really, really high quality YouTube videos out. And it ain't no joke, man. It ain't no joke. But again, the main difference is at least you're not talking to people. You don't have to entertain people in real time. You just get the YouTube video going. It may take a couple of days, 3-4 days to really, really get it cooking. Gotta come up with a really good thumbnail that's going to catch people's eye, and then you put it out, and then it's not real time with the comments, and then you just let it sit. So it's different. It's a different beast. It's a different beast. But even still, like, that takes a lot of time out of you. But I would hope that, again, YouTubers, if that's the main type of content that you do, that a YouTuber would at least take the time and just take a break. And if you're talking about just social battery wise, just talk to somebody or whatever. But again, we've heard of YouTubers like Corey Kenshin, for example. He's one of the biggest examples. And somebody made a video on him recently as well as to why Corey Kenshin keeps leaving. At one of the first times that he left and he came back, he talked about the chair. Like he's always in the chair for hours and hours and hours, because Corey Kenshin doesn't have an editor. I don't know why he hasn't hired one after all this time. But apparently one of his reasons was, he has a certain editing style that he doesn't want anybody to try to change. But again, if you're editing your own videos, you're doing that, you get burnt out. You get burnt out super quickly. We talked about burnout a lot, and that's the reason why he keeps disappearing. And we've also seen a string of YouTubers who have been doing this for over a decade, and they're like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do YouTube anymore. Like, I want to move on to other ventures. So we've seen prominent YouTubers also quit, a lot of them within the past few months, making videos saying I'm done. So at a certain amount of time, like, it just gets to be too much. You're like, I've done all that I can. Is it worth it to continue doing this same thing? Like, what else am I chasing at this point? So it's also equally, if not a more taxing job than streaming, and even a real job, a real 9-to-5 job. It can be. So, it's really pick your poison at this point. There are going to be pros and cons with everything. But if we're going to dial it back to Hasan, and his main point with his social battery being drained, and him, because he started off this video saying, hey, like, we had to get together, and he was like, I'm washed now. He was like, back in the day, I used to, chug down a whole bunch of drinks. He said he took one drink and he had a hangover. So he was like, what is going on? But he was like, I just didn't want to be a downer to everybody. Because he was like, my social battery was done. He was like, I just didn't want to sit in the corner and have people thinking, that I'm angry or that I'm, upset. He was like, I'm not upset. He was like, my social battery is just drained. And I understand that part. But at the same time, your social battery can also be drained at any 9-to-5 job. Your social battery can be drained at any 9-to-5 job. I'm a manager in IT, and it unfortunately is my duty to talk to people. But even when I was doing desktop support, my job was to talk to people. I may not be speaking to you directly over the phone or face to face all the time, but I have to communicate with people. And yes, that can get annoying when I'm getting chats, I'm getting emails, I'm getting phone calls from a bunch of different people per day. Plus I gotta be in meetings you know, plus I gotta check on my own team. Like it gets to be a lot. It gets to be a lot. All right, AB. I'll see you later. So I understand that. Like my social battery be drained too. You know, at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. You know, I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody either. So with that aspect, Hasan is also wrong. Hasan is also wrong in that aspect. But again, I understand why he said it. But again, it's self-inflicted at this point, right? Because again, I don't know what contract that Hasan has in the background. I would hope that at this point, Hasan still doesn't have or is bound to a contract that requires him to have a certain amount of hours. Because I'm like, we have to get away from that, because that is something, I don't know who started it, but it's becoming the same realm to me as like net 30, net 45, net 60 as far as getting paid. I don't know, it became an unwritten rule at this point, and it needs to stop, because again, we're not seeing positive results at someone streaming all those hours every single day. It's nothing positive about that. Yeah, people are being entertained, but what is it doing to the content creator at the end of the day? What is it doing to the content creator? It's not going to force them to make even better quality content if one, they get tired, they get burned out because they don't really want to do it. Two, you're not eating properly. Three, you're not sleeping properly, because this is all that you're doing every single day, and your social battery is drained. You don't want to talk to anybody, so your friendships are going to be tested, your relationships are going to be tested. All of that is a downward spiral. All of that is a downward spiral. So I don't know. I don't know what Hasan's contract or situation looking like, but I'm really gonna hope that he is not forced to stream those type of hours. And if so, if he's not forced to stream those type of hours, then why are you doing it? Why are you still streaming those type of hours? I don't get it. I don't get it at this point, because if you can make your own hours, then why don't you dial back the amount of hours or the days that you stream? And how about you take more time? Like if you're already taking time, how about you take more time to fill up your social battery, to do whatever you need to do, and then you come back. I don't know. So that was interesting. That was interesting. So what does he even do to get trained? Yeah, I don't know, but this is what he says. And again, you can't say that he's wrong. You can't say that he's wrong. So I don't know. Like, I don't think he plays game like the Sign. I've never seen the Sign play game. Like, did he start out playing game? Like I said, I don't know that much about him. All I know it's a lot of politics, a lot of takes in the stream. Like every time I see clips of him, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm homeless. I'm gonna watch Shogun. I'm gonna watch Shogun for sure. It got really good reviews, so I'm gonna check it out. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what he's really doing or what's going on. But I mean, again, if anybody streaming those hours, whether you are just starting off streaming and you believe in the grind culture, or whether you're in the top 5%, I think it's going to drain everyone's social battery. So like I said, he's right in that aspect, but again, it's self-inflicted, because you should be able to choose your own hours, being at the point that you are, because you are in the top 5%, sir. Like, you're successful. So why is it still a thing? Why is it still a thing going on? And if you acknowledge that is a thing, that your social battery is being drained because you're streaming all these ridiculous hours, then how about you do something about it and make the change? Because I feel like, again, at that point, you shouldn't have to do that anymore. And if you still are forced to do it, then my friend, you need to start thinking of other avenues. Like, I don't know what else Hasan has going on venture wise, but maybe he needs to pivot. Like, talk to some of your buddy elite streamer friends and figure something out. Like, because I don't know, but at the end of the day, man, grind culture needs to stop. But nobody should be streaming 8-9 hours a day or longer than that, doing streamathons, bro. Streamathons are one of the banes of my existence. The only way that I accept streamathons is if you're doing it for charity. And even still, I would think that you should have multiple people taking shifts and doing it. And that's usually what charity streams end up being like, because I've been a part of some. But yeah, it's gonna be a no for me. It's gonna be a no for me. So that was that, man. That was that conversation. So it was very interesting. It was very interesting. Like I said, I agree with Hasan as far as just literally what he said in the social aspect. Yeah, I believe that streaming for 9 hours can be more taxing socially than a 9 to 5, where at least you're interacting with people majority of the time. The majority of the time being out there. So at least at least you're talking to people. Like, I get that you're at least being social in that aspect, but if you're streaming, you're just talking to people across the screen. So it's like eventually, yeah, the talking gets tiring and you're just done. You're like, I'm just done talking. I'm done talking. I've been talking for 8-9 hours. Like, what are you talking about? So also, doesn't the community play a big part in social draining? Because I mean, yeah. And then you have to add on the people who he beefing with, SUC's community that apparently doesn't like him, Destiny's community. He talked about Destiny a lot. That man, it sounded like he got some outright hate for that guy in his community, because he said all they do is just clip his stuff and then they just put it in the subreddit and then they just go off and they just become a hate brigade. So you can feel your social battery drain. That's big facts. So again, when you feel that, why don't you just stop? Like I don't understand. I don't understand these people, bro. It's so ridiculous. So